Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. So we have Wednesday. We will be doing the questions and answers today. Some of them I already answered on the Instagram, and now we are doing a little bit video for you. Some of these answers probably will be more elaborate. So as usual, if you like the video, please click like, subscribe, so you are always notified when the new videos are coming. You are always also invited to comment in the section, so any questions you have, or maybe you have some propositions for the topics, so it's always good to comment, and let's dive right into the video. First interesting question was about the 8th Lord in the Lagna, if it is making the person mysterious. So I would say that to some extent yes, we know that the 8th house has that mysterious nature because it's the natural Scorpio, so it's definitely the house to consider. And as you will see, the Aquarius also has similar vibe, and this is because these two signs, Scorpio and Aquarius, so these are the Ali and the Kumbha Rashi, these two signs, they are also loaded by the nodes. The nodes are the Rahu and Ketu. They are the extremes of the moon. So when the moon is going in that circular motion, the top extreme or the top periphery is called the Rahu, and the south node is Ketu. And in Vedic astrology, these 2 points, these are mathematical points, but they are also very much related to the theological or mythological stories. So they have the whole meaning, which are described in the Puranas or in the Vedas. So it's always, if you are into Vedic astrology, it's always good to read those additional Puranas to understand how these planets or nakshatras or the signs are working, because they are very much connected to this Indian philosophy. So definitely we can say that if the 8th Lord is in the Lagna, it will bring that nature of the Scorpio, we can say. And similarly, we can know that because if the 10th Lord is in Lagna, then the Parashara says it makes one poetic, and basically it comes from the fact that the Karaka of the 10th house is the Mercury, so it brings the similar results as if the Mercury would be in the Lagna. So if the 8th Lord is in Lagna, then we can say that it's like Saturn on one hand, so every Dushtana Lord in the Lagna is like Saturn, so it can put the guna a little bit down. It can make the person a little bit gloomy due to the suffering or weaknesses or losses, so it can be there, and it can be related to reputation, Lagna, or birth or family, but also it takes the lordship, the natural lordship. So here we have the Ketu, so the Ketu lordship definitely will be there, so therefore it will make a person mysterious. So I would say yes. So now if we know that it comes from this Rahu and Ketu, then we may be sure that whenever this Rahu and Ketu are touching these points of identity, like Lagna, Moon, or Arudha Lagna, or the Navamsha Lagna, it will have the similar effect. So if you have Rahu or Ketu having any influence on the Arudha Lagna, then it will also make person very mysterious, we could say. So that would be the biggest point. Do you have Rahu and Ketu aspecting or having any influence on your Arudha Lagna? Then we say that you can work in esoteric field, because this is the Rahu and Ketu. They are ruling this esoteric sector. So planets which are influencing the Arudha Lagna, they are showing how you identify yourself, how people are perceiving you, so this is also the nature, and also in which sector you can work based on those Okay, the next question is related to the Jupiter in the 8th house. Any Sattvic Grahas, and the Sattvic Grahas are Sun, Jupiter, and the Moon. So if a Sattvic Graha is in the 8th house, then we say that it can cause the Asura Yoga. And Asura Yoga basically means that the person can be Asuric. And one of the characteristics of such person may be the streaks of cruelty. So, for example, they say that it's not good if the king has the moon in the 8th house, because it can cause person to be a bit cruel. Then if it's the Scorpio ascendant, then Jupiter would be the second lord and the fifth lord. So if a second lord is in 8th house, it's also showing that one is leaving the office, because the Sagittarius is natural sign for the Jupiter. It's like an office because it's Mula Trikona. So Mula Trikona is office. The own sign is more like a home. So if Jupiter is in Gemini, it's a 7th house from Sagittarius. So it's living office, we say, and therefore it is showing that. And because it's second lord, it may also show that you are leaving your family or you are leaving resources. It may be good if you are doing some dealings with the articles, because second house shows your articles, your wealth, your resources. So if second lord is in 8th house, then it means that you are somehow dealing with such resources. And here the Jupiter also will be the 5th lord, and if Jupiter is the 5th lord, then we say that it is also related to speculation. So now the speculation thing is also involved there. So we say that if Jupiter is a second lord in 8th house, it has such connections. Now, of course, you have to see the rest of the chart. If this is part of the work, or this is some part of business, maybe this is the additional type of wealth, maybe this is the wealth of the family, which you are also taking some part from it. So in this way, you have to build the whole story, analyzing the rest of the chart. But also we have to understand that if Jupiter would be afflicted in the 8th house, and especially retrograde, then it is quite negative. And Parashara says that this is one of the negative yogas which in the extreme sense it can even decrease the longevity of the person, and therefore we say that the mantra for this has to be the Dakshinamurti sadhana of Shiva to remedy such position. Okay, the next question was about how to be always positive when we are analyzing the charts of others. So in our tradition we are taught to use the Narayana Kavacha, and Narayana Kavacha consists of 3 mantras. This is one mantra is Om Vishnave Namah, the second mantra is Om Namo Narayanaya, and the third mantra is Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So it has the 6 syllables, 8 syllables, and 12 syllable mantras, and these mantras are referring to the houses of Saturn, because it's the 6th house, 8th house, and 12th house. These are called the Dushtanas, and these are the negative houses of Saturn. Okay, the next question is about Jupiter and Ketu being in the 11th house. So we know that both the Jupiter and Ketu and the 11th house, they are related to the tradition. The yoga of Jupiter and Ketu shows the student-teacher relation, which basically is related to tradition, and also the 11th house being the house of Guru, and also being the house of Guru, especially giving us instruction, because it's third from the 9th house. So this combination of Jupiter and Ketu and 11th house shows that the person has the blessings of the tradition. Even if the person is not spiritual, not religious, not involved in any esoterics or tradition, it may just show, for example, in terms of work, that you are joining some traditional work, which is going from one generation to the other generation. So it has many decades, and you are just joining that. I have also seen that this may manifest in this way. Basically, it's quite good for Jupiter to be in the 11th house, because the natural Karaka for the 11th house is Jupiter. So when the Karaka is connected to the house, it is bringing that nice side of that house. Especially we see that for the 11th house, because 11th house can easily flip to that Rahu side. Because 11th house is the Aquarius, natural Aquarius, is loaded by Rahu, so it has that Rahu side to it. On the other side, we know that this is also Karaka as Jupiter, so it can be very good. Normally how it works is initially it's very good, and then after some time it can punish us if we are crossing that border of greed, because 11th house shows gain. So we are impatient, we want to gain in 11th house. Just like the 6th house, if we fall prey to the weaknesses, to our greed, especially in the 11th house, then that negative side will come up. This is the side which will teach us about the illusion, because 11th house is also the house of Maya, of illusion. If you have malefics there, you are not so easily trapped by the illusion. If you have many benefics, then you are very much emotional person, because it will also affect the Fifth house can give a lot of creativity, but also maybe more prone to fall in illusion. The next question is about Rahu being in the Virgo Lagna. So we have the dual lordship. Rahu will lord the first house because Rahu is lording the Virgo. So when Lagna lord is in the first house, it is very good. It makes one very strong, especially research. One can be famous from research, right? This is the Rahu. Here, the sixth lord will be in Lagna in the same time. So when we are rising, also the enemies in our lives or the opposition, so the symbolically opposition, whatever it can be, this will also rise. So when we are rising up, the opposition is also rising. So when Malefic is in the Kendra and is lording Kendra, it's good to be strong. If it's not lording Kendra, better weak. But if it's lording Kendra, it's very good to be strong. The problem here is that Rahu in Lagna has 0 Digbala. So basically it may show too much confusion, overthinking, trying many things, mixing many things, doing a lot of research, not depending on the wisdom of others. So this disbalance between own research and wisdom is there upon the night. And now this will negatively influence the houses lorded by Rahu, which will be the Lagna. So it can also somehow affect the reputation, but I would say that the Rahu will protect Lagna. So it will really go into the sixth house. So the sixth house, this attitude can provoke some kind of enmity. Also when the sixth lord is in Lagna, the general prediction is that one may be enemy of its own clan, own friends, own country, own city. So that problem may also be there. And also it may show that one is treating the workers as a family. And the workers, they are people, they are my people, my community, it's like my family. And this may be problematic for the workers because it puts a lot of pressure on them and they don't understand this relation you have to them, and this may create some kind of friction, and from this point of view it may have its own challenges. The next question is about 8th lord in the 7th house, debilitated Venus. So that would be I guess the Pisces Lagna, right? It must be Pisces Lagna with the Virgo as 7th house, and this is the occupied by the 8th lord Venus, which is also getting debilitated in the 7th house Virgo. So that is not good, because basically if you are doing business you don't want to have any Dushtana lords related to the 7th house, first of all, because that may show losses through partnership. If you have Dushtana lord related to the 7th house or 7th lord in Dusha, it shows losses in partnership in the Dasha when these plans will get activated, and then the losses will be caused by the Karakatva of this Dushtana lord or lords in Dushtana and the yoga involved. So if it is Venus, it may show some wrong relationship with ladies, especially bad marketing, the bad PR, public relation, bad advertisement, some bad relationship generally with people. So this is what we can suspect. So if one is really into business, one wants to go such way, then the remedies are needed for this position. And we say that for Venus debilitated, it's either Radharani or the Kamalatmika Devi as the remedy. So then we have to apply remedies to channelize this energy to make it stronger and to protect one from such eventual losses from partnerships. The next question is about how much percentage of the Lagna, Ascendant, the Moon and Atmakaraka are going into one's personalities. Personality will be influenced from many levels. So of course the most external layer would be the Arudha Lagna, and that will show not only the influence on your personality coming from yourself, so from inside, but this will also shows how the karma is influencing your view of others are looking at you. So this is also impacting the your reputation, which is coming from other sources which are not related to your desires or your preferences. So this is very external layer, and this is the Arudha Lagna. Then we also know that the Lagna is the computer, the Lagna Lord is how we are using the computer. So if the Lagna Lord is in Dushtana, we are basically saying that we can commit many mistakes. And also if the Lagna Lord is in Dushtana, then one may have negative thoughts which are not correct, and this may also cause depression. So now the type of psychology which is related to cognitive psychology, which is related to false thinking or having the wrong thoughts, wrong patterns, how they influence your feeling, your being, And then if you have that in the chart, then definitely you can benefit from that psychology, and definitely you may have those wrong patterns of thoughts with the Lagna Lord in Dushtana, or Dushtana somehow influencing your Lagna. So that is definitely there. So Moon in Navamsha especially is showing the preferences, what we want to get, what we like, what we dislike, because the Navamsha is the karma from many lifetimes. And in the Rasi chart, the Moon will show more our ethics and our psychological makeup, especially the Shubhapati, which is the dispositor of the Moon, will show that. So that will show what we like. The Moon is showing the mind, and the mind either accepts or rejects. So we like something or we don't like. And the Lagna Lord, our intelligence, this is the D, the Buddhi. The intelligence is basically how we are translating what we see. So our sensual inputs, sensual outputs, and this is then formatted as a proposition given to the mind. So the intelligence is giving the proposition. You can do this, you can do that, and this will bring that outcome. This will bring this outcome. So basically we can say that the Lagna will bring more the various propositions which are brought by the intelligence, and then these propositions are given to the mind. And the mind, based on the past life preferences, we like something or we doesn't like something, and based on that we will accept. We will follow certain proposition which is based on the Lagna Lord. So the Moon is the king of the subtle body, as he will ultimately choose which way we will go. Yes, so the final conclusion would be that our personality is definitely the mix of all those minimum 3 factors. They are probably more. They are much more factors. There is the Varga Lagna factors, there is the Navamsha Lagna factors. So there are many things, many layers of our personality, and each of these layers will throw some impulse, and this mix of these impulses will be how our personality is. And what is interesting is that this will also be very dynamic, and this will change depending on the Dasha. So various Dasha will also have influence on our Lagna, and this will change with time. In childhood we may be more influenced by Lagna, in the middle age we are more influenced by the 5th house, and in the old age we are more influenced by the 9th house. So this will also change. So the Vedic astrology is very nice and wise because it takes into consideration the changes. So it's not the static picture, it's a very dynamic, and the dynamics of our character is shown by the Dasha, and also by all these points we represent our personality, which is the Lagna, the Ascendant, the Moon, which is the mind, and also the Arudha Lagna, which is the image of us in the minds of others. Okay, the next question would be, can the planet in the Upapada bring the long-term relationship? Pada is the Arudha of the 12th house. Dasha planet, especially in Janma Vimshotri, in the Moon Vimshotri, is always activating the Arudas in the 1st, 2nd, 5th and 9th from its position. So all Arudas which are in such placement will be activated. So we can say that this is the requirement, but this is not enough. Other points, especially the Navamsha and probably other Dashas, they must confirm that. So then you have to check the Navamsha chart, other Dashas, but definitely the planet which is joining the Upapada is a very good candidate. So it is like an option which you should consider. The next question is about what is the proof that the Moon is lording the Taurus. So we say that there are many types of proof. The proof is basically called pramana in Sanskrit, and we say that especially for Brahmins, the people, intellectuals, the text says, are taking the first type of proof is the Shastra or tradition. So in our tradition we are just being told, yes, use the Moon for Taurus, and for some people it should be enough. But of course we need the logic. This is the Kshatriya Anumana Pramana, so we have to use also the logic. And the logic is that each planet, if you take any planet, whenever it has a Mula Trikona of a sign, for example Saturn in Aquarius, Jupiter in Sagittarius, or Venus in Libra, they have Mula Trikona in these signs. So whenever this happens, then it is always also lording these signs. So Saturn is lording Aquarius. and Jupiter is lording Sagittarius and Venus is lording Libra. So similarly, we know that the moon has Mula Trikona in the Taurus, so if we want to be consequent, we also have to take the moon lordship of the Taurus. The next question is about wearing gray clothes for the Arudha Lagna in Virgo. Of course, this is what we do. Virgo has the gray color if we are using the colors of the Arudha Lagna or the signs which are in Trikona to the Arudha Lagna, then we are definitely increasing our Arudha. So our reputation, we could say we can be more seen, more visible to the world, to the others. Our reputation can go up. Basically, it's also good for our career life. We can also use the signs which are in Trikona to the Arudha Lagna. So you can use also the planets which are in Trikona to the Virgo. For example, the Taurus has the color white. So the white color would be very good to wear if you have Arudha Lagna in Taurus, in Capricorn or in Virgo. There are also other options for colors which are taught in the Gemini. There are different rules to use that for the Varnada Lagna. There are also some options for Darapada, for Upapada to attract relationship. Others can be attracted in you when you are wearing certain colors depending on your chart. So it can be good for people who are looking for a stable or serious relationship. We can use that also as a remedy. Okay, the next question is about what planet is making one bald. So we need to take the Sun for this. It has also a high testosterone relation, so Sun, very manly planet. And usually when it affects the Navamsha Lagna, I would suppose it can indicate something like that. I have a friend who has this connected in the Rashi Lagna. But definitely the Navamsha Lagna is the way to go for this. So if you have Sun in Navamsha Lagna, like me, it can make you very good at music. Sun in Trikona is making one good with the rhythm. Basically, they say the Gita. And unfortunately, it can make your hair follow. The next question is about what is the difference between the Atmakaraka Dasha and Lagna Lord Dasha. So there is a big difference because the Lagna Lord is basically supporting you. It wants to be good for you. It wants to increase your power in the world, your intelligence, your stance in the world. So it's good Dasha. Usually it's good Dasha. There are of course cases when person died in the Dasha of Lagna Lord. It has to be connected to some upagrahas then, or really badly placed, like in 8th Lord, very strong, retrograde, afflicted, something like that. But we say that the Atmakaraka Dasha is completely different because Atmakaraka Dasha wants to teach you about the truth of this world, and we are learning by going through some experiences which are not always very happy. So depending on the position of Atmakaraka, the Karakatva of the planet and the houses involved, this may show how you will learn those lessons. So we are calling those lessons for the person who is going through these periods. He may say, oh my God, it's not a lesson at all. I would rather have something else. I learned nothing from this experience. It was totally useless for me. But if you will see this period from a distance, from another mahadasha, when the Atmakaraka Dasha is over, then you will notice, yes, I have learned a lot from this period. So usually we say if it's Venus and Moon, this is the more relationship lessons, especially if it's somehow related to 7 or 12 or even 4th. If it's Jupiter Mercury, it can be more about listening to others, arguing with others. The Rahu Jupiter can, Atmakaraka, this is the periphery of fate, perfectionism and so on, depending how it's placed. It may come from those events. If it's related to 10th house, it's more from career life. If it's related to 9th house, it can be more at the times of studies or some ethical challenges, ethical things in life. So this is how we are learning. So the Atmakaraka Dasha may be bad, you may feel it's bad, but in the long term it's good, or for your soul it's definitely good period. The next question is about, is the Ketu mahadasha bad? I would say not at all. It all depends where your Ketu is placed. For example, there are many nice placements of Ketu. You may have Ketu with Jupiter, which is very positive yoga. Also Ketu with Sun is quite good, right? So if your Ketu is nice placed and it's strong, it may be your best dasha in life. This is a very basic way and often very wrong to say that the dasha of a malefic is wrong, right? It can be totally opposite. Ketu can be your best mahadasha depending on other factors. Of course, we can take the general indication, like we can take the mahadasha in the dashamsa. If it's connected to 6th house, you are doing more being employed at the time. If it's related to 7th house, you are doing more business. You can also take in D24, the mahadasha related to the 9th house. It's more the college time. 2nd house can show masters. 7th house may show PhD. Of course, you must have the yogas for you, the Lagna Lord connected to 7th house or something like that to allow PhD to happen. Then you can time it if the yoga is there. It may be totally opposite. Ketu may be your best friend. Ketu mahadasha may be the best part of your life. The next question is about Rahu in the 6th house for Gemini Ascendant. So that would be Scorpio Lagna. So Rahu in Scorpio, it's not the best, we say. It is having the Ayur debility. So Rahu is debilitated in Sagittarius, and it has this Ayush or longevity or health debility in the Scorpio. So this is not the best position. Rahu in the 3rd or 6th normally makes one a warrior. We can see that from the chart of Shri Krishna, who had the Rahu in the 3rd house, and Shri Rama had the Rahu in the 6th house, because those 3rd and 6th, these are houses where the Karaka is the Mars. So if you have Rahu there, you can be going into the path of challenge, fight, especially in that diplomatic way, because Rahu, this is the bheda. He is fighting with diplomacy. He's not fighting by danda, by punishment, like Sun, Mars, and Ketu do. Rahu, of course, any malefic in the 6th house is turning that 6th house from upachaya, good house of growth, when something can grow through community, memory, and work. So you are growing through work. And if malefic is there, it can turn that house for the health problem or enemy problem. It's just like 11th house. If there are malefics or some bad yoga, especially benefic afflicted in 6 or 11, may turn those weaknesses into challenges or problems. Okay, and one question was also about the bhava chalita. What is better, bhava chalita or the normal lagna? So this is, I would say, the bhava chalita, I consider this like a trap. It's like a shortcut, because your experience was that you have seen something in life, you see the chart and you cannot understand this position. Then you are suddenly opening the bhava chalit lagna and you see, oh my god, yes, Mars is now in 7th and I had a very problematic divorce, and in Janma it's in 8th. No, it should be in 7 because 7 shows relationship. So you don't really understand how Vedic astrology work really in the full way, and then you are using the bhava chalita is more resonating with your understanding that relationship of the chart and life. The problem is that when you are taking another chart and when you will be using now, okay, so bhava chalita is better, so I will be using bhava chalita, but then this happiness, this acceleration may end also very quickly, because then you will find a chart when the Janma Lagna will much better reflect the reality. So this now becomes a problem. So then you will say, okay, sometimes Janma Lagna work, sometimes bhava chalita work, but this is not useful, because now if someone is coming to you, a friend or a client or whoever, and want to read the chart, then you don't know what should I use. Should I use Rasi Lagna or should I use the bhava chalita Lagna? So I would say these are these shortcuts. For example, some people are using, okay, the lordship position doesn't work, the nakshatra lord is betterly working here. Nakshatra lord is better working here, or this ayanamsha doesn't work, lahiri doesn't work, it's better to use the ramana ayanamsha or other ayanamsha. So this is always a way, like an excuse, like a shortcut. It works sometimes, but then after some time you will find another examples which will basically destroy this illusion of you finding the key to interpret the chart. So I was always more into a following tradition first, at least in the first 20 years they say follow traditional, like if you are doing music or if you are doing art, they also say that in the first years you should rather follow the tradition more and see how the generation before you, how the experts in the field, how they are using the charts. And then you may start interpreting. But I don't really have faith, or I don't follow the astrologers who are from the day one, for the first month or first year, they are inventing some new systems, tropical zodiac with the Vedic rules. Yeah, it works. So we are not following that. So we are. And if you want to see a meritoric answer to this question, then I already answered that on YouTube. What is the difference between the Janma Lagna, Rashi Lagna, and the Bhava Charita Lagna. So you may go to that YouTube and see that answer there. Okay guys, so that's gonna be it for me. I hope you find it interesting and informative. I was risking my own health here on this platform to answer your question. Hopefully you will appreciate that. So please give that like button, subscribe if you want to see more like this, and see you in the next one.